Hello.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah. Hey man, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. So yeah, thank you for booking with me on Metafy. I'm just gonna go through a couple notes here, just because it's our first time. I know you and I have spoken on stream, and we talked a little bit at nightclub last week. But
Yep.
just to give you like a little bit of a brief overview of what coaching with me is like. I am pretty big on game plans in matchups. I'm always
Yeah.
happy to do like single sessions, but I think we've talked about this a little bit before. Just when you were watching my stream and stuff. But one-off sessions are totally fine. I'm happy to give you like a couple quick answers for like how to get better at certain things, point out holes in game plans or holes in gameplay. Sorry, rather than that. But I
Yeah.
think talking about game plans and kind of building off that in multiple sessions is just more. It brings more value to like long-term learning, and it kind of leaves more of like a permanent feel to them all versus just like do this here. Um, so
Okay.
yeah, that's one thing. Like I said, just kind of in text a second ago, this is going to be uploaded and recorded to YouTube. I know you already have some pre-notes here, which is awesome. I'm really excited to take a look at that. You're one of like the first people I've ever had who have come prepped with that, so that's great. Um,
I told you, man. I'm a very good student.
yeah, no, I'm ready to see it. This looks awesome. So yeah, let's not waste time. We'll jump right into it. While I pull it up here, though, why don't you tell me a little bit about how long you've been playing, whether or not be like in melee or just with the Ditto, things you're looking to get at, stuff like that.
Yeah, sure. So I've been playing for about 7, 8 years now.
Mm-hmm.
It was mostly just like old-fashioned net play until nightclub started, and then I started hitting the local pretty much every week since then. Um, Marth Ditto, very volatile. I have some basic game plan stuff that like we'll see in the VOD a little bit from Arc and from Calvar
Mm-hmm.
and probably from Logan as well.
Okay.
But yeah, I also feel, let's see. Uh yeah, I don't know if I have much more than that for now.
Okay, no, that's no worries. So I'll give you a brief synopsis of what I like to do in the Marth Ditto. So typically
Sure, yeah.
speaking, I mean, more often than not, it's mostly about keeping Marth off stage or keeping him up in the air above you. Pretty standard in terms of like other
No.
matchups. Like it's pretty similar to like Sheik in terms of like your goals for the matchup. But I
Yep.
think this one's kind of like it's really more. I would say it's more of like an execution test matchup than anything, but not so much like tech skill, but rather like it's like a lot of knowledge checks, right? So, do you
Yes.
know like
Yeah.
how to deal with down tilt properly? Are you using the right moves in certain spots? Do you know how to edgeguard Marth? Stuff like that. Um,
Yeah.
so that's pretty much that. So we can get a little bit in depth on that. I don't have a specific write up on that because it's just things I've taken like over the years. But it's something I'm looking to do eventually. I do have little notes here. You can see I'm going to leak DMs with one of my students here just to give you an idea of what I do typically. So
Yeah.
give me a second. I'm trying to find one. So like with HTCP is a good example. So we talked about Marth versus Sheik. So like this is an example of like I'll typically rate out like what are Sheik's matchups and weaknesses in the Ditto or weaknesses in the matchup and why, and basically rewording that is like what does that mean for you, and then
Yeah.
how we structure VOD analysis, kind of like how we make that happen or what's going on, why it isn't happening. And then I kind of do it from the flip side too. What's good for Sheik? Why is that bad for you? Same thing, but rewritten in different ways, so you can kind of like learn how to play around it, kind of thing. In the
Yeah.
Ditto, though, not
Yeah.
really as big of a deal, right? You only need one. So yeah,
Yep.
basically, I like to look at it in terms of like instead of looking at Marth's strengths in the matchup, I like to abuse what the other Marth is weak at doing. I'd rather play the opponent versus like playing the character, if that makes sense.
Of course,
Um,
yeah.
so typically speaking, like we said, yeah, Marth is very bad when he's above his opponent. He struggles to land. His really only mix-up coming down is using a weak, not the like the fresh side beat, but the weak one to stall his landing. Um,
Hmm.
he when doesn't have a jump, like he should be dead at any point. Down tilt and F smash cover most options, but not everything. Um, or
Yeah.
actually, rather, like you can sweet spot around those. So basically, that's what you're trying to get around the whole time. It's not to be not above Marth and not on the ledge. Anything you can do to avoid those two situations is pretty much how I will
Yep.
typically play the matchup. Um,
Yeah.
So yeah, I see here that you have some notes. So you said I'm testing you aggressively, short hop double fair and down tilt, steal this, which I definitely think these two are super, super good in the matchup, fair and down tilt. You want to practice
Yeah, yeah.
getting F throw.
Um,
Sorry, go ahead.
oh yeah. I've noticed that I think Logan as well has touted this as like an opening strategy of just like, all right, let's see how aggro I can be. Is that like something that you're consciously trying to do? Or are you like trying to test your opponent's defense at the beginning?
I think it's not so much what I'm looking to test at the beginning. Typically, the way I look at it is on go, I'm just like scared of being F smashed off stage or something, or like grabbed right away, right? So
Yeah.
so more than anything, I think those are the two things I'm looking to play around instantly. Um, but I think as time goes on, and I kind of will like prod here and there with like down tilt or a little bit of movement or an aerial, any of the three really. If I see that they're not respecting one of those three options enough, that's when I'll kind of push that a little harder, you know,
Okay.
if that makes sense. So it's not necessarily that I'm just going in with one option at the window. Typically, how I will play from the beginning of a stock is I will play a little passive and kind of like feel it out a little bit, and kind of as the game moves on, if I notice like one area where I can just get an opening, that's what I'll push more often than not. So more often than
Okay.
not in the Ditto, um, most Marts, from my experience, are not pushing down tilt nearly enough as they could. Um, I think
Okay.
down tilt is like essential in this matchup. In
Yeah.
terms of like how to play, I think down tilt and crouch cancel are like the things you need to be most scared of, more than like an F smash or a grab. Um,
Yeah.
because Marth doesn't really have. He's not like Fox where he just has like a really fast like dash into jump to throw an aerial on top, right? Like most times it'll be crouch cancel because it won't be tippered, or it just won't be like he'll get hit before that even happens, you know. So
Yep.
down tilt
Yeah.
kind of sets up basically like a wall between you and your opponent. Of course, it's not perfect. There are ways to beat it, but more often than not in the Ditto, it's extremely committal to do so. Um, so yeah,
Hmm.
that's one thing. There's some other things that I like to do in the Ditto that I feel like most Marths don't do right now. Like I see here, your second point is DIing F throw out.
Not killer.
And yeah,
Yeah.
Marth killer for sure. That's my preferred way to edge guard. Um, but this one especially is DIing F throw out on reaction. I think one thing that I have a little bit of advantage of over most Marths is I have a slight flowchart to the Ditto. I don't feel it's not exact, and more often than not, they can escape out of it sometimes if I'm like wrong about a percent or something. But typically, I will never opt to do F throw at zero at least.
Okay.
I'll opt for down throw
Yeah.
tech chase instead. Down throw tech chase,
Okay.
and then once you get to, I believe it was actually you who linked me this in the Marth Discord. But
Yeah.
yeah, once you get to a little bit of higher percents, you can start doing up throw combos with fair and up air, and those link a lot easier.
Yes. Yep.
Um, and those are much more guaranteed, it seems. But from reading those, just from like it's kind of like Falcon a little bit. If you've ever looked at like the Falcon chain grab or up throw combo flow chart, where there are some niche percents where certain things just won't work, like a DI behind will get you out of the same up throw forward air on every other DI, or things like that. That happens a lot with Falcon, and Marth is a little bit the same. But generally speaking, there are just kind of massive windows of percent where you can do a reaction to up air and forward air on it, either DI. It's pretty easy to kind of just like know that. Um,
Okay.
so that's something definitely I can link you to that. I'll grab it real quick if you don't have it already. Um, I'm trying to find where the sharpening is.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
so yeah. So I mean, this is all from you anyway. So actually, I probably don't even need to
Yeah.
link it to
Yeah.
you, but I would definitely recommend taking a look at this. My general assumption, you can see here, a lot of the percents, they kind of start at 13, 14. I'll put it up to 15 just to be safe, because 15 I feel like is a much rounder number. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I basically just down through tech chase till then. I don't really think, like I said, the DIF throw is really great. It feels a lot more often than not like a like an execution test basically. And I think I don't.
Yeah.
I typically tend to stay away from execution tests when I play, or forcing on my opponent, because if they get out, then you kind of just get nothing, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely think There are, like, of course, there are F3 follow-ups here, like you said, but for me, they're just not really as great, at low percent at the very least. And then, yeah, you have
Yep.
a couple other things here you're looking to practice. So for midair, fast fall, land, turn on, down tilt, so it's tech skill. Put off stage, dash dance to turn around, wave dash on the ledge. What do you mean? Do we
Yeah.
just like wave dash here instead of wave land?
Yeah, yeah. Currently, I always like shield stop to do it.
Okay.
I don't need to do that, so it's slowing me down. And there's one in this set that like ruins an edge guard because I roll instead
Mhm.
of yeah.
Okay. So opponent Marth is at 25% up tilt into short hop up airs. So just like raw
This
up
is
tilt.
also this is also just kind of tech skill. Just
Okay.
like I've been working on hitting the short hop up airs.
Okay.
Typically I will tap jump full hop by accident.
Okay, that makes sense. Do you typically use tap jump to do your up airs?
Nah, it's just I'll short hop and then I'll just push the stick too high when trying to get like an up for the up air.
Oh, you don't use the C stick?
Um, no, for like the instant up airs, I'll just use X to jump and Z
Okay,
to aerial.
that's interesting. Okay. Yeah, definitely worth testing. I'm sure you know already, but I'm just gonna reiterate it in general. Even though it's not really super relevant to this point, but up throw up tilt is never really a combo. In the Ditto, a lot of Marths have that
Yeah, yeah.
mistaken. So yeah, don't ever do it. It's basically the way I look at it. ASCI opponent Marth down tilt into F smash.
Yep.
That's tricky,
Uh,
but it works.
you did this to me game two. I don't CC or ASDI like really at all, and
Yeah.
I just need to bring it into my game.
So yeah, let's talk about before we actually look at the video, and I'll talk about um what follow-ups are percent ranges for punishing opponent Marth's landing from ledge. Okay, we can talk about this too. I can link. We don't have to get super deep into the Marth killer edge guard, just because there's already a
Okay.
Metafy session that I did with May. I'm sure you know
Oh,
May from
cool.
Europe. So
Yeah,
I
definitely.
got really annoyed one day, and I was just like, "There's no guides like at all on how to edge guard in the Ditto." So I basically just asked May to lab it out for me. So
Sweet.
I have a
Yeah.
flowchart for it now, so I'll send you that. You can just watch that.
Awesome.
We don't need to
Yeah.
waste time in our session together. But
Cool.
yeah, TLDR, you almost always want to be doing Marth Killer more often than not. There's only a couple niche instances where you don't want to be doing it. But
Hmm.
it's very similar to, I don't know if you've seen Cody's flowchart for how to edgeguard Marth with Fox. Pretty similar
No.
concept. Okay, I
Okay.
will link you that, just so you have a general idea. But essentially, it revolves around, um, it's always resource management, of course. So
Yeah.
it revolves around, you put up the light shield to like set a checkmate or like a stalemate. I don't know what it would be called, but
Yeah.
basically force them to react to it. And then it's a matter of what do you think they're going to do after, and you jump out or jump back on stage. So there's a whole video on that. I can link it to as well, but really not as important. I think the Marth one is probably the one you want to watch more.
Yeah.
So yeah, the other thing I was going to say before we watch the video, aside from edge guarding, we don't need to waste time on that, is um, I'm of the belief that, like I said, down tilt is the most underused move in the Ditto, in the sense that I don't think people use it properly. I think they spam it at ledge, and that's like one thing, sure. But I think it's much better used to put pressure on in the corner. I think it's good for if you guys are in the center of the stage, just like a quick poke tool. You get to control the center, which is huge in the Ditto, stage control. Um,
Yep.
and another thing outside of that, from the other Marth's perspective, who's afraid of getting down tilt, um, movement can be very slippery. I'm sure as you played the Ditto for many years, you might notice that like it feels very swingy. That people are throwing out moves, and you're always scared of getting F smashed or something, dash dancing outside of moves. Um, excuse me, I'm a little sick. Um,
Oh no.
you might find that when you're dash dancing outside of moves, you might get randomly to press smash, but then you keep a big distance away from your opponent. but more often than not, I actually do think it's fine to be just outside of down tilt range in the Ditto. F smash barely reaches further than down tilt. Like it's very minor in terms of spacing.
Yeah.
But why it's good to be just outside of that range is it allows you to weave in and out of down tilt range pretty effectively.
Right. Yeah.
And from the attacking Marth's perspective, what they're most scared of is if you get close to them and can, like you said right here, ASDI down the down tilt, or more often than not, just true crouch cancel. The biggest opening you can get more often than not at a low percent in the Ditto is just hoping that they'll down tilt and then running up and crouch canceling them, and you get CC grab before they can get another down tilt. It's pretty broken. That's like a massive opening in the matchup. So, excuse me. I definitely think that that's like a really big one. Is looking at crouch cancel grab in the Ditto. I'm just opening up the YouTube link here right now so we can get started. But yeah, more often than not, I think that's a pretty big one.
Yeah.
That's
Cool.
so cute.
It's actually going to be a Marth Ditto.
Sorry, just a sec. Let me switch here. Okay.
Oh.
Okay, I'm not listening to these guys' commentary. They roast me every time I play, so we're gonna keep it muted.
She roasted me. She said
Yeah, I know.
he's not going to be driving. What the fuck?
These guys are heartless. Okay, so yeah, just from the beginning, right? Instantly, we're both throwing down tilts at the beginning. The second I see that you're using down tilts myself, that's why I'm throwing out these fairs more often than not. It's not necessarily to be extremely aggressive. It's just because he's throwing out down tilt. How do you get over it? You have to jump over it, right? Which can be scary. Don't get me wrong. There are other ways. Like I said, like F smash will outrange down tilt. So you can clip Marth if you have perfect spacing. You can get close to him and CC grab. But at the beginning of the game, where people are more likely than not just gonna run in, I'll just opt for jump it over on down tilt.
Okay.
So yeah, like I said, you want to stay grounded much as possible. Your biggest two weaknesses are up in the air above the other Marth or off on the side. So center stage control is massive, right? It's a similar concept to where you have me here right now, where it's the whole thing I have to get over right now is you down tilting in the corner. It's really, really scary. And truth be told, I do remember when I was playing this set, I was really bad at getting over that. I had a lot of turdy nerfs, so I was having a lot of execution flow. But the main idea is still there, right? You want to get over down tilt. So just looking at this first stock here, I'm letting it play in real time so you can kind of get a little bit of a vibe of like what's going on, because I'm sure we're feeling each other out just first stock. That's typically how it goes. What are you looking for most when you're playing here?
I'm looking for down tilts.
Yeah.
And getting you off stage and edge guard, like depending on how far away you are. I guess I've got my own internal flow chart that is not like comprehensive or anything, but
okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get you off stage.
That makes sense. So yeah, typically speaking,
I'm trying to shield your down tilts into shield grabs or whatever.
Yeah. No, I think grab is massive in this matchup, right? That's why I was talking about CC grab on down tilt before. Because then you don't really have to play the spacing game, right? It's the second you get a grab, you have the opportunity to up throw or do a DI mix up with down or forward throw to get them off stage. But up throw personally is one I like the most, with the exception of them being in the corner, because then they're put in the corner. And like I said, stage control is everything. So yeah, typically speaking, more often than not when I'm fishing here, it's just put them in the corner, keep center stage, and that's really it. I don't try to complicate the Ditto too much more than that. But I do have certain rules, right? So you may notice that sometimes when you're running away, or when I think you're about to run away, I'll shoot a dash attack or something like that to kind of catch you. But I wouldn't recommend that as like an actual like good thing to do. I think that's just something like a hard read more than anything. It'd be the equivalent of someone doing like run off F smash or something.
Okay.
But yeah, really this matchup is I look at it as like a poking matchup. I know some people will play it very aggressively. You might see, I don't know if you know what I mean by this, but like people who I call like the Black Marth Mewtwo King style, where they're very big on using Nair, spamming their moves as much as possible, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't like playing the matchup that way. I think those Marths are the easiest type to beat in the Ditto. I say that, but I did lose to Tazio, who I feel has that playstyle a little bit.
Yeah.
But
Interesting. Okay.
that's the execution test, right? That's what I mean by if they force the execution test more often than not, get outside of the mashing range. They don't really play like the poking game as much. They kind of play a whiff punish range. But in the Ditto, because you guys have the same ranges, I think more often than not, it doesn't really work out that way. So yeah.
Okay.
Any questions? I don't mean to like just talk over you nonstop the whole time.
No. I don't feel that way at all. Dispense the knowledge by all means.
Okay. So yeah, basically, I do think, like I said, dash dancing and down tilt are like your main like goals in the matchup. Outside of that, I mean, we can talk about edge guarding a little bit, just because it's a little relevant here.
Yeah. So like I just missed a Marth killer opportunity right before this, I think.
Yeah, exactly. So, right, like here, I'm not getting anything off these down tilts, just doing pivot into nothing. But this is an idea, right? So before you get an edge guard, right? Let's talk about when they get the ledge first. We'll talk about edge guarding right after, because it comes right after. This is basically the range you want to play on the aggressive end, right? Down tilt here, because like what does Marth have to get over this, right? Have you played Dark Hero before?
No, I haven't.
Okay, Dark Hero is a box player, Marth. He's the devil, is
Yeah.
the way I describe him. He's just a total menace with a box, because what he'll do in this position in the Ditto is he'll run up, put himself in a down tilt here, and he'll push you off stage with another, like he'll hit a down tilt, push you off stage, and then he just dash back pivot down tilt. And from the red Marth's perspective, there's nothing he has that directly beats that. It's like the same concept as Falco Laser kind of thing. You're not super worried at the down tilt a lot of the time, because like more often than not you can recover, or you can shield it, and like that's it. It's not gonna like shield poke you or anything if you have a good shield. But you're definitely worried about what comes after, right? Marth can cover quite literally everything, or the blue Marth can.
Yeah.
So why Dark Hero is like a total menace is because he uses pivot down tilt on the box.
Yeah.
And it's just insanely good, because it's a super strong option. But what should the red Marth do here? I'll ask you the question first. I have an answer, but more because it's one of those things where it's more often than not up for interpretation. But what do you like to do here in this position?
So I think what I like to do here is just like find like a timing mix up, and like I think in this case I just like normal get up, which I think works sometimes, but it's a little cheesy. Ledge dash and try to get like one glint so I can shield and grab something like that.
So I will let you know, if the Marth is spacing here properly, that won't work. The shield into grab, or at least shouldn't. Don't get me wrong. I actually do think that the ledge dash into grab is a valid option, because more often than not, I think Marths are just kind of lazy at setting this position up. But if I were to hit your shield here in this position, you wouldn't be able to grab me. Ideally, at least.
Okay.
So when I'm in the red Marth position right now, or on the ledge, the blue Marth isn't going to really change anything. There's really two things I'm looking for. It's down tilt, and then anything else. Which I know that sounds a little silly, but you're basically looking for, like you said, an opening between the down tilts. Because like I said, you're not worried about the down tilt so much. The down tilt's just going to cover your feet right here, not you at the ledge. If they're spacing if they're spacing to get you at the ledge, that's when that shield option becomes better. And it's just not as good for the blue Marth, in my opinion. Let them have the ledge. You don't care. It's hard for them to get over the down tilt. But you are worried about what comes after the down tilt, right? So you can get your frame 1 shield up and have them start poking your shield, which will either put you back on the ledge or shield poke you, and then you're off stage, and that's scarier. Or you can do something else. So like you said, you can do neutral get up, which definitely is cheese, I think, for sure. It gives me it reminds me, I used to be a Smash 4 player a lot, and I played Ultimate for a little bit. But that's the vibe it gives me, where it's like you're hoping that they mess up the neutral get up timing, and then that's just one of the lowest leg ones. So I don't get me wrong, I will do it. I'm not above it, But I do definitely think that it's one of those things where it's like it really shouldn't work, especially when you're at a high percent. More often than not, it just won't, right? Especially because if they're spamming down tilt, they have multiple chances to hit that.
Yep.
So yeah, the most underrated option, in my opinion, from the ledge here to beat down tilt at perfect spacing, it's a little tough, but it is possible to do it. I will do ledge hop fair. I'll show you some notes here that I have. I've recently started taking notes. Literally just the day before collision, I made this Discord server. I'm gonna start taking notes in here.
Yeah.
But basically, the concept here of these images, right, is that from the ledge, the opponent shouldn't be able to get past this range of forward air, right? Which, if we look at the video here, Marth's like half of Marth's body is definitely within this forward air range, right? Like almost definitely. So the idea is that there's a Kadoran video on this, but I think the Kadoran video explains it a little weirdly. So just to reiterate the main points from that video, the idea is that Marth's sword, because it's disjointed, that's his excuse, quote unquote, for not having a amazing ledge dash. This is his Galint equivalent. So this forward air, this up air, you basically have all this circle right in front of you, right? Where completely disjointed, you should be able to get around it. And anything in between. That's all this last image is. Anything in between, you can do just back forward air. So, in my opinion, the best way to get off the ledge when you're in the corner like this is setting up invincible ledge hop fair, but you have to time it to when you think he's going to do a down tilt. It's very risky. You could die if you mess it up, like you get down tilted without a jump off stage, and that's really, really rough. But the benefit of why I like doing this kind of leads into the next point, is because it is an execution test on your end, but I don't mind an execution test on your end. I don't like giving my opponent an execution test, if that makes sense. So this is something you can practice. And a lot of the time, the down tilt is pretty reactable. Some people will disagree, but I think it really is, especially when you know like down tilt's coming. You can kind of anticipate the animation a little bit. So yeah, what happens when you're off stage? It's still not that bad when you don't have a jump. It can be, don't get me wrong, but what will happen is because the blue Marth, when he down tilts you off stage, if you mess it up, he won't have time to set up a Marth killer, so he won't have time to anticipate whether or not you're going to be able to sweet spot around down tilt or S smash here. He has to make a guess. So it's not guaranteed that you're going to die here. And more often than not, you'll just land on stage and people will mess up the tipper spacing on F smash. It just kind of happens when it's a little awkward like that. So you basically still have 3 recovery mix-ups at your disposal. Don't get me wrong, it is still scary, but because it's an execution test and it's one that's not really that hard to execute, I do think it's worth it more often than not, is to go for the ledge hop forward air. But yeah, don't get it twisted. Neutral get up, that's the cheesier one, but the ledge dash into shield, just as valid if they have poor spacing, which more often than not they will, right? So that's basically what it revolves around. You could roll here. That is a fine option, but it's only really good if the Marth isn't paying attention. Like if they don't really know how to play this situation, they kind of like mash moves like the Mewtwo King style, like I was saying. No shots at Tazia when I say that. Just that's what I describe a lot of Marth is the Mewtwo King mash, like Nair style. I think more often than not, they know that this is a good position for Marth, and they know this is where, quote unquote, this is their turn to play. But it doesn't really, it's not really like thought out. It's just kind of one of those like feel things. So roll, they'll spam a bunch of moves. They might cut you, they might not. But if you actually know the situation, roll should never work here. It's the same idea as like Falcon back airing over and over, and you roll, like he's gonna back air and just turn around and grab you. So yeah, I don't like roll here. So basically, ledge dash down, shield, let go of ledge, jump forward air. It's invincible, it's disjointed, it's really good. So let's talk about edge guarding, right? This situation moves on a little bit. Or actually, sorry, I should ask. Any questions about that situation before I move on from it?
I don't think so. It looks like I respond to the down tilts with fair. Is that just because you coincidentally stopped down tilting at that timing?
Where, back here?
Yeah, so I got out of that position by fairing out.
So this is
Oh, you missed it.
yeah, exactly. I was gonna say
Okay.
from here, right? This is scary because like you won't be able to grab me when Marth's head moves backwards from the down tilt, right? Down tilt will whiff in your face, or grab will whiff in his face here. If you were to grab me a little early, you could maybe catch it. But yeah, that's why you don't want to like just jump out of the shield option. Then I would think roll is better from the shield because this is what you have. You have this one, or you have the grab, right? Both of those technically lose to pivot. You just pivot out of the way, and then you can react to grab or forward air. Like what I was looking for when I went for this pivot here is F smash. Yeah. Even if I whiff F smash on your shield, there's going to be so much damage for the move. You just get knocked off back to ledge and it resets. But when I do F smash, then the down tilt spacing is messed up and you restart. That's why the pivot down tilt from Dark Hero is like so messed up because he instantly just sets the perfect spacing back up again. It's messed up. But yeah. So basically you should die here. The idea of F smash is that it covers everything at the ledge here, and if it misses, if it hits you, you get set up for Marth Killer, and then you should die. If it misses or it hits your shield, you're just back on ledge and it resets. So that's what I'm looking for here. The forward air might even miss too on the down tilt right here, just because I have the ability to shield out of here, right? Like I'm able to act before you are.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to show it off. See, well before this frame of turnaround could be shield. You shield on frame 1 technically. Oh shoot. So all the startup frames of forward air, like don't get me wrong, it can work, but it's only if they're slow. So I will typically try to not be a little aggressive out of here. I will more often than not roll than do this fair, just because I'm so scared of getting F smash in this spot. What you can look for a lot of the time is when Marth's, even like, let's say the blue Marth is coming in here and he's running in and the red Marth gets back on stage. A lot of the time what they'll do from the corner is they'll start jumping and they'll use like forward air range to kind of like scare you off, right? Don't come at me. I have forward air and F smash and down tilt myself. But the blue Marth has all the advantage here because F smash beats all of those, right? So more often than not, Marths will be jumping in this spot, and that anything that they do will just lose to F smash like terribly. So, I personally don't really like being aggressive out of the corner like that. It's a really awkward spot, and it really is up to this Marth now in this position to set it up. But yeah, this is basically like a win condition. Imagine you're a little bit further back, like you want the down tilt to kind of like end right here almost. But it's very, very scary. So here, this is a Marth Killer setup.
That's a Marth Killer.
Yeah. So let's talk about why it could be. I'm going to assume that you're here. We'll ignore where you are right here. With no double jump, I'm forced low, right? When Marth is forced low, right? Of course, like I know you know how Marth Killer works. You've been playing for so long.
Yep.
It's checkmate, right? He gets hit back off stage or he dies or whatever. That's pretty much it. So what are you worried about when you're going for a Marth Killer edgeguard? Based on where I am, which is not a bad spot with side B, because I end up basically right here. I have, as Marth, two real big options. Go low, take the damage, or die, or be aggressive. If you're in shield here, you're not really scared about if this Marth is aggressive to your shield, right? The only time you're ever really, really worried about it is if Marth hits like the bottom part of your legs with Nair, because then sometimes you get pushed off. But even sometimes then you can fast fall to ledge before that comes out. So really, you're not really worried about his shield. All you're worried about is him jumping over and kind of waiting for you to let go of shield. But because back air is so quick out of shield, this Marth doesn't really have time to react. So what you're looking for is for him to use his double jump or side B to land on stage above it. But that's all you have to look for. It's a reaction, right? You just are looking for the rings below his feet. Hold on, I'm gonna back it up so you can see it a little better. just like right here, right? This is all you're really looking for. These little rings for him to get over your shield
Yeah.
here, and you just swipe him away and then roll back to ledge and do Marth Killer. I should ask, actually, do you know the perfect setup for Marth Killer, like how to get it consistently?
Like roll to the ledge, hold light shield, and point your analog stick down and off stage.
Yeah, pretty much. You actually don't even need to hold it down. That's actually
Okay.
a common misconception about Marth Killer.
Okay. Yeah.
Excuse me. So yeah, you actually don't have to do that. So the way I will set up Marth Killer is, like you said, roll. I think that's the easiest one because you're just close to ledge instantly. And then I'll actually buffer the light shield with Z so that I have access to my triggers if I need them. It's just a personal preference thing, but I think because it gives you such a big light shield and it doesn't deplete very easily, it's not as sensitive to like the analog input of a trigger. Marth Killer with Z is just a little better in my opinion. So I'll buffer it in the middle of the roll. I'll start holding Z, and then I'll hold the light shield out. And then the way I activate it, kind of the Marth Killer, quote unquote, is I wait for anything to hit the shield, and then I do a fast fall input to grab the ledge instantly. So that's pretty much it. Is you roll to ledge, get the light shield out, hold out, and then fast fall to ledge on hit. That's all you're really looking to do. Anything else, you're just reacting to their quote unquote like resources, recovery resources. So side B double jump, swat them back off, or what you can do is you can stop angling your shield to the left, let them hit your shield, and that'll push you back on stage, and then you can S smash from there or something. That's another option as well. Or you can just like let go of ledge, literally turn around down tilt. That's also valid, but I don't think that one's really as strong just because like why do that instead of the shield like checkmate kind of thing. There is quite literally only one up B Marth can do to get around the light shield if he just wants to up B, to get around like let go of shield F smash as well. So there is only, and it's like pixel perfect micro spacing, like super tight. Not something really reliable you can go for in tournament whatsoever. So if that happens, that's more often than not, you just have to respect it. But otherwise, sometimes when Marth tries to up B outside of Marth Killer range, you could just let go of shield and F smash, right? And you can usually react when they're going low to them doing it outwards, like trying to set themselves out to drift out. But then it's like you just let go of shield and get ready to F smash them, right? F smash and down tilt cover everything. So, but for that one specifically, like S smash will just work. So yeah, anyway, point being, definitely want a Marth Killer. I think it's super strong. And I know we're talking a lot about like the punish and recovery aspect of this VOD the most, but more often than not, that's what I think it comes down to. I think because it's a Dittos just kind of are like who has better punish, who has better stage control, and that's pretty much it more often than not, right? But I think in the Ditto, if you don't really have like a game plan for it, like ready, then it kind of shows in like just how your opponent can play around you, right? So like here, see, and then there I do that up B thinking you might have bad DI. What I could have done instead here is once I get you back on, I can just ledge dash, F smash, ledge dash, up tilt, down tilt. You're at such high percent, it doesn't really matter, right? But yeah, that's pretty much the idea, right? And then even still here, I can set it up again if I wanted to, but because I can, same thing as what I was talking about, the Marth Killer thing, I can see that you're recovering outwards. Now down tilt and F smash become much more valid. And then you just secure a kill. But yeah, so between stocks, I have one rule, typically speaking. I would advise you to do the same just because we play the same character. One thing top players, like, they low-key cheat, right? There's a June bug video on this as well, but I've learned it from just talking to Aklo for a little bit. Top players actually are just cheaters in the sense that they use invincibility like an actual tool. Like there's like a meta game to how to use invincibility that they don't tell a lot of people because I think they just assume everybody knows, right? But basically, for invincibility, the rule is you get one free move. I don't know the actual amount of seconds. I think it's like 2 or 3. But I would typically advise, and I'm trying to like stop myself from doing this more as I get better and stuff, but I'm trying to stop doing like YOLO F smash or YOLO F smash into like whiff in their face because now they're in the corner, right? Same thing as I was talking about a little bit earlier, like the Mewtwo King style of Marth, where they recognize someone's in the corner. This is a bad spot for my opponent. I'm gonna mash a ton. I feel like invincibility is kind of the same thing. So like my opinion is that it can vary on the situation, of course, but more often than not with Marth, you just want to grab, right? It's pretty universal in every matchup. So my rule is that when I have invincibility, I will go for one grab, and if not, if I miss it, I just hold center stage, right? Especially in the Ditto, where we talked about before that being in the corner, being off stage or up above him is so bad. All you want is center stage. One grab into just hold center stage, and like all of a sudden this me dashing through you kind of thing becomes terrible, right? Because if you stop whiffing grab, it's so much easier for you to just react and like throw it a down tilt, and now all of a sudden I have to respect that, right? Versus if I can see that you're just gonna like chase me with grab a ton, then it's a lot scarier for me. So yeah, the rule, like I said, one grab on invincibility, you almost have enough time to always shoot for like if you're going from the center here, like respawning, usually have enough time to do like run to like here-ish on a stage, grab, and then retreat a little bit, and then you have stage control, but you also throw out a massive like win condition for you, right? So yeah, anyway, that's basically what I'm trying to say is throwing out a grab or playing invincibility, there is like a meta to it, but a lot of people just kind of don't know that. So I want to throw that out there just in case, because I did see you with 2 grabs there. And then yeah, so down tilt grab, so down tilt. So what are you looking for when you throw down tilts here? I want to ask.
Basically just like tipper it, push you back a little further.
Okay.
Trying to be safe.
So would you
Get
say
closer
that
off stage?
would you say that you use moves like down tilt as like a poke or more as like an attack?
I'm not sure of the distinction between poke and attack.
So the way I use down tilt, I use down tilt the way you're describing it.
Okay.
But I think the viewpoint might be a little different. So
Yeah.
basically you're saying you use down tilt to force them off stage, right? To keep them in the corner.
Yeah.
But I use down tilt as like I think of it almost like Falcon Gentleman or something, right? Where it's like you can throw it out and then be safe, and that's it. I know Falcon Gentleman's like a little bit of extreme example because now there's tech for like how to CC and grab it. But the idea is that it's a safe move. You throw it out, and then you kind of play off what you think they're going to do afterwards, right? You kind of do it as like it's like poking the bear with a stick. You want to see what he does, and then kind of do something afterwards.
Yeah.
So when I see you use your down tilt here, this is why I'm asking. So let's go back. Or is it before here? Sorry, there's a couple spots where you get a down tilts. Yeah.
Your second stop.
Okay. Yeah.
Or your third one.
So this down tilt, great, right? You set up for this, go a little bit far behind and lets me get out. But then you're doing down tilt again, grab, down tilt again, right? So
Yep.
what I mean by that, like the down tilt again, is I think just basically like I use down tilt as a way, like if I'm the red Marth in this position, I set up down tilt here as like a what are you gonna do from this spot onwards, right? Especially where you're so far out here. Granted, you're not putting too much pressure on because like I said, this Marth can outrange this one now with down tilt. So you want to have the down tilts like try and hit him at tipper spacing ideally. But what I will do in this position, which I think you do here as well, is I'll back off. Or no, you attacked here. Okay, sorry. I'll back off. But then all I'm trying to do is reset it so that I am able to poke him again, right? Does that make sense? Or do you want me to clarify it?
I think so. Like, so yeah, maybe could you
Yeah,
just
no worries.
say that again, yeah.
So basically, Oh shoot, sorry, I didn't mean to pause that. Down tilt in this position. This down tilt is great because you're hitting a tipper down tilt and it forces you back, right? Just like how you said it before. You're using it to force them off stage. That's excellent. But when they're on stage here, right? And you get this down tilt. I get why this one's misspaced because you're in lead dash back leg and you can't really control it too much. But ideally you want your down tilts to be hitting Marth's shield or hitting his feet. Because if they hit his feet, same thing as what we talked about before, he's just pushed off stage. And like we talked about a little bit with getting off the ledge, if they hit his shield, he can't jump, the other Marth can't jump over it safely, and they're pushed back off stage, right? So you just get to spam it over and over and over. Yep. But what happens when you miss one right in front of Marth? You have to he can do anything. It's not I think an opening is a good way to put it, but the way I would say it is like it's not necessarily that it's his turn to play. It's just more he's able to do anything. Like he could jump up, he could retreat back to ledge, he could stay in shield. In this case, I come at you, right? But from your perspective, what you need to be looking for when it's like, okay, I whiffed a down tilt here right in his face, is you need to be actively looking for similar concept as Falco Laser. You don't really care about hitting the down tilt too much. Hitting it is a benefit, don't get me wrong, it's great. But what you're really worried about is when you throw it out in front of him, what is he going to do afterwards? So to me, when I see you do this attack here, right, it doesn't feel like you're like ready for it, it seems. Same thing here.
Okay.
Like you're not really like ready for, you hit that down tilt right at point blank range, and then you kind of just do like a dash dance grab, anticipating I'm going to spot dodge or something. Another down tilt here, and then you run at me, right? So basically what I'm saying is, I'm sure you've heard this term before where it's like, look at your opponent, like only focus on what they're doing. Don't focus so much on what you're doing. But it's easy to do that, especially I think when you have down tilt. Down tilt's like a way to like take information. So you just have to respond. You can do two things with it if you're not really great at reacting. One, of course, is just react, see what they do. If they're jumping in at you, like you can just stand in place and F smash them, because like we talked about before, it's very difficult for this Marth to jump in and attack him. Or what you can do, why I said at the beginning of the session, why I like to play like passively and see what they're doing poorly, is if you have the information in your head from before that, okay, I keep throwing out down tilts and this guy keeps jumping over and trying to attack me, right? You can kind of anticipate it in that way as well. But yeah, down tilt is like your information gatherer and your oppressor in this matchup. It's just super, super broken. And there are a couple of ways to beat it, of course. Like I said, weaving in and out, crouch cancel, jumping over it sometimes. More often than not, though, this is the insane move that makes this matchup so like annoying a lot of the time, because it all revolves around who has center stage and who can down tilt the other one in the corner, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically what I meant by, do you see down tilt as an attack or a poke? Because the way I look at it is you poke them with down tilt and see how they're gonna react, right? And play it off there. Yeah. I don't really care too much about if I hit them in the corner. That's just an added benefit.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, up throw. Okay. Swift a grab coming out of the corner here. Okay, you get a grab. Okay, with your grab. That's just a little unfortunate. Okay, so jab, down tilt. So again, I'm being aggressive on your down tilts, right? Got to keep an eye on for that. Where's it? Right here. Down tilt, nair, over it. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for a lot of the time. So
I see. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so you get up air. That's unfortunate. You don't get the tipper.
That was the up air that was supposed to be a short hop.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just a tech thing, so I won't harp on you too hard for that. Good recovery. Ledge dash up tilt, that's really aggressive. So yeah,
at this point it's like YOLO.
Yeah, no, I get that. So yeah, I would just keep it in mind. You only really ever need two, right? The forward air here in this position could be really strong.
Yeah.
Like I like the forward air a lot. just because like it catches dash dance movement, it beats shield, it beats down tilt in the corner. It only really loses to like turn around F smash or something, right? Or a perfectly spaced down tilt. But even like the more you mess around with it and the more you fish for this hitbox of forward air specifically, this one, you'll find that this hitbox of forward air destroys down tilt a lot just because it reaches so far.
Okay.
So yeah, I would definitely mess around with that ledge hop forward air a lot more. I think you'll get back to stage a lot better.
Yeah.
But if not, be defensive. I don't think anything else out of the corner is like really too great. It kind of leaves you just more open where you don't need to be.
Yeah. With the ledge hop fair, are there percents that I need to worry about for the Marth on stage CCing or ASDIing?
Yeah, I think that's just a general rule for like anything when using fair. But like yeah, keep CC in mind. But like if you think they're gonna crouch cancel it, maybe then like don't do it. Or if you do go for it,
Okay.
like go for like forward air re-grab on ledge. Do you know what I mean? Like
Okay, yeah.
you could do fair re-grab to ledge. Like I would opt for, if you think you're gonna get CC, do this fair, right? Because then you get the fair out and then you just re-grab the ledge by the time they're able to attack you.
Yep.
If they're too close and you're worried about like down tilt gonna hit you, then you can just re-grab ledge, right? Down tilt will only hit you at ledge at like the perfect down tilt spacing, right? But like I said before, if the Marth actually knows the matchup, they shouldn't be going for that anyway. So that's more of like a knowledge check for you to hit them with, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Okay.
In this case, you were at like 42. That's like don't fair range, right?
I think it'd be fine for against Marth to go for a 42. Okay. It should be okay.
Cool.
Okay, so starting off, actually, I want to ask you why Fountain? I'm pretty sure I banned Yoshi's.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so,
I hate Yoshi's in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, in the Ditto especially, it's like, all right, well, let me just make this a little more random.
Yeah.
Of like, let me take the skill out of the equation a little bit.
That's what your goal was with Fountain, or you're saying that about Yoshi's? Okay.
Like both, because Fountain is the closest size to Yoshi's.
No,
so
that makes
like
sense.
if I'm the higher seed, I'll ban Yoshi's or Fountain or whatever.
I definitely think that makes sense. Like the reason I hate those two stages, pretty much, yeah, like you said, it kind of takes the skill of the equation. Whoever gets center can like keep the other person in the center way longer. So if you're really smart about it and you like know how to get center a lot or force to keep them in the corner, then these two stages are fine, honestly. More often than not, I will still opt for like FD or Dreamland instead. But yeah, if you're looking to cheese me, man, whatever, I get it.
Of course. I'm fighting the guy who got fifth. Like, let me cheese him.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, so yeah, here, like I was saying before, I think at like 0 especially, Marths will always just start the matchup by down tilting. I feel like subconsciously we all know that down tilt's just like really broken. And we do it and then kind of like throw it away for the rest of the game, right? But it is really what you should be doing a lot. And here, I do fair down tilt, which I don't think is good, by the way, doing these like whiffed fair aerials like it's Fox, just because Marth has the same range. But like, he'll always outrange another Marth's aerials with F smash, right? So little minor rule, doesn't matter a ton, but at most levels, I would try and advise you to avoid doing like fair down tilt. I do fair spot dodge, but same idea, right? Do like fair dash back instead or something, or fair shield. But this down tilt right here that I go for, oh, that's not a down tilt. Where's my down tilt? Here, this down tilt I do after the spot dodge is terrible, right? So close on the other Marth. And if you look at it in real time without YouTube frames, you can easily CC grab that one, right? If you were ready for it.
Yeah.
And like I said, center stage is huge. A grab just completely gives you center stage, and no matter the percent, right? So definitely try and fish for CC grab, especially at the beginning of the game, I think, a lot if you can. You don't have to make it the only thing you're looking for, but set it up as kind of like, I don't know how to describe it other than like a default. Like you're more often than not, you're defaulting to CC grab, but because that's like subconscious, you're always just ready for it. you can look for other
Yeah.
things. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Kind of
Yeah.
like how you would use down tilt in certain spots, right? Down tilt should be the default more often than not, but you're worried about what that. So yeah, you get it. Okay. So yeah, just another example of like, now I have center, you're in the corner, it's hard to get out, but that's just the ditto. So
Yep.
here, I do this fair. What I should be doing here is doing fair, not jump, turn around, and then get ready to do CC down tilt. Do you know about that? CC down tilt at ledge?
Like, are you talking about when they try to eat the up B?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, it's a gimmick, but it works. It's really, really
Yeah.
strong. But yeah, so that's
Okay.
in spots like this where I'm only bringing this up because sometimes you just can't get the Marth Killer set up, right? Like right here after the forward air. What I should be doing here instead of jumping, and it's just a tip for you to keep in mind, is do neutral get up into CC down tilt. Be ready for it. Because I think like where your up B hits here, you're gonna hit me with it, but then I'm gonna poke you in the head right after. You know.
Yeah. So the thing with that is like I see the top Mars going for this all the time, and I don't think I've ever seen it actually hit.
With the CC down tilt.
Yeah.
It's difficult. The reason why a lot of people will miss it is because there's no way for, like, I'll go back to the spot just so it's easier to point it out. There's no way for the Marth on this end to know, is the up B going to land right here? Is it going to land right in my face? Is he going to space just outside of it? Right? And what they're looking for when they go for CC down tilt, like especially players that play with Rumble, they'll know instantly. But they're waiting for the hit confirmation to do down tilt, right? Because they can't buffer it. They have to time it.
Yeah. Okay.
So what'll happen is sometimes like it's nerfed, sometimes the spacing's a little off, it makes it weird. Sometimes they get like there's different hitboxes of up B, right? Like if you hit with the back hit of it, it's Sakurai angles, so it makes it a little awkward. Just stuff like that. But more often than not, it's either they usually just mess up the timing, or the other Marth gets the space around it, which is possible, right? I think I mentioned at the beginning, but down tilt and F smash will cover everything, but two of them have two flaws where they won't reach, right? And it leaves the red Marth. That's why I don't like edge guarding with down tilt and F smash a lot. From the red Marth's perspective, he has the ability to drift and kind of weave in and out a little bit. It's still difficult, don't get me wrong, but it gives him the option to, whereas like something like Marth Killer won't. But anyway, the main point from here is when you hit them off stage with a fair like this, I know this is my Marth, but I just want to point it out. You can fish for CC down tilt to force this, like, keep them off stage even more. From your perspective, I don't think you did anything wrong by this forward air here. I actually think this forward air is perfectly safe to go for. A lot of Marths will tell you it's bad because you can do an invincible down air, but I think just because of when you did it, like I was running out of invincibility, it's fine.
Okay.
So yeah, see, same thing here. If you CC a down tilt, it's huge, right? I go for S smash here because it's tipper spacing, and I just kind of know that like Marths will set up the down tilt in this position from here. Like we've talked about it so much already.
Yeah.
So here I do CC so I can get S smash out in time. But yeah, anyway. Okay, so Marth Killer in there, right? I don't even have to think about it because you used your jump all the way out here. I'm watching, right? Yep. So yeah, definitely get in the habit of it. I think it's broken. Like quite literally, when you don't have a jump in this position, your only option here is air dodge, which I just down air on reaction, or let go shield F smash, or up B around it. And like I said, more often than not, I can angle my shield or just grab ledge before you're able to like go down and get the spacing to get it. It's checkmate, right? Like it doesn't matter. So yeah, definitely start doing that. I think it's super, super broken.
Yep.
And I'll definitely link you the video so you can watch it for like the full tutorial on how to get it. And there's also explanations for why other edge guards don't work. But
yeah.
Okay, so probably I think at this percent 80 when you get a grab.
Yeah.
You should be fishing a little bit more just to push me off stage instead of hitting me up again.
Okay.
Just because, like, if you hit me up, right, like, all I'm going to do is get a potential to landing, but off stage, like, it's just so much worse, right?
Yeah, I think in that particular situation on top platform, I was worried that an F or down throw would put you under me,
Yeah.
which is like worse.
No, I don't mean the up throw. I still think up throw here is fine. Like I would personally do
Oh,
forward
okay.
throw instead of down throw. But it's where you get
Okay.
below me here and you fish for up tilt again. Like here,
Oh, it's
you can just F smash that, right? That'll reach for sure. So
okay, cool.
yeah. And it's not really risk, right? Like I wouldn't be able to whiff punish you for that F smash just because I'd have to fall to ledge. So you'd be fine. Okay. So pivot. So one like thing I know we talked about it a little bit, just like center stage control. But you might notice
Yeah.
as well, when I'm coming out of the corner, I'm being very aggressive, but then I'll spot dodge instantly, or I'll go on my shield, right? It's because I know
Yeah.
that just like from like feel, when you lose center stage, you're attacking me instantly, right? Right back at it.
Yeah.
And that's in other matchups probably not a big deal, but in this one where a grab just like completely throws the whole matchup like upside down,
Yeah.
you can't be like super aggressive. That's why down tilt's like you'll see down tilt being used a lot because it's not really easy to punish either, right? You can punish it, but it's not like fantastic. Okay, so let's watch invincibility here. So one move. Okay, so you get out of the combo here. Dash back. Aggressive out of the corner, but you get another shield. Okay, F smash, that's good. I think here what you could be doing instead after this F smash is just stand here and be ready to CC anything, right? Like threaten down tilt here at the ledge. Like imagine if this will go. I don't know why it's not. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's say imagine you were standing here, right? And watch the way I'm falling, but you're standing here. I don't think there's a single thing that you would need to be worried of from the blue Marth hitting you, right? Down tilt would be hit him before he'd be able to like forward air you or something. So he's forced low. We talked about the CC down tilt thing already, so that's like really scary for him. So he's basically forced at this point to either jump or go down and drift and try and get a up B around down tilt, right? But then you just set up a free S smash. So this S smash, if the Marth is ready, and granted, I don't do this enough either. I didn't do it in any of my sets at Nightclub, but I do know about it, and I think it's broken. Where you get F smash in the corner like this, I call the F throw F smash like it's a staple, right, for like low level Marth Dittos. But it's still used a lot. It's just a lot of people won't hit it or be hit by it as much because it's like it's basically a checkmate if you know how to punish it after with the F smash. So you stand here, and from the blue Marth's perspective, now that they're off stage, right, having this position is just so broken in this matchup. Hold down, they hit you, you down tilt them anyway. They try and get around you and get to ledge, you down tilt them anyway. They jump, you up air or forward air, they go low, you edge guard them. It's insane, right? Like I could just have been dead there had you had the right positioning for it. And that's all this matchup is. Okay, that was brutal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was when this game was over.
Yeah.
I was trying to edge cancel it. Now, that dare, edge canceled or not, is a thing that I do catch a lot of like I guess what I wanted to ask is like, is that kind of like a noob killer dare, or like would you have just like teched it and reversaled or something?
I think it's a valid dare, but the problem with it is it kind of is like an execution test, right? Like the dare is good because it's really great at catching Marths that hug this, right? Because sometimes like F smash or down tilt will just like completely miss them if the red Marth is misspaced here at the ledge. That's when this down air works. But why I call it an execution test down air is because like what happened right here, the Marth just gets around it, right? Even if you edge canceled, I still would have gotten around it. You would be further to the right had you have done it, right? And it's also extremely risky, right? Like you died, but even if you didn't die, like then you're put on the edge with your back facing the stage in the corner, right? Like if I get the ledge here, you just get double jump. I just double jump nair invincibly, and you're pushed off stage no matter what you do, right? So more often than not, I do get why you went for this down air. I see its purpose. I just don't think the risk reward is in your favor for going for it, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. Keep it simple. Just
Yeah, pretty
crouch.
much. It's really, this matchup really is like, it's a knowledge check matchup more than anything. There is a lot of execution tests, but it is really like a knowledge check. Do you know the theory and stage positioning enough?
Yeah. So if you go back like 10 seconds maybe, I just upbeat to ledge. You crouch canceled it and didn't get anything.
Mm-hmm. It's because I'm way too far out. This one you're talking about?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yep. It's because I'm all the way out here, right? Not close enough to hit you with down tilt, just too close to have like the good down tilt spacing we were talking about. And I'm a little slow on it on top of it all, right?
Okay.
But yeah, I think this would be too far out if you had to space the up B anyway, so it wouldn't have hit. Otherwise, it could have for sure. If I was a little bit quicker on the timing and I was a little bit closer, it totally could have got you. So getting up from ledge here, second shield. So why I think the shield here is valid. Granted, there's two types of shield. Not that it matters a ton when the Marth is dash dancing, but you have shield from neutral get up, and then you have the ledge dash down shield, which is a little bit closer to the ledge, right? They are different though.
Yeah.
When I'm in shield here, the only thing I'm really looking for is just that dash dance grab, and then I just roll in, right? Then the roll in is perfectly fine. It is a little bit of you can play a mix up for, well, are they just gonna keep dash dancing or not? But if they do keep dash dancing, that's when your flare out of shield actually becomes like worth going for, you know? So I would say when you're in shield and they're dash dancing, just be ready to roll. If you think they're gonna bait a roll, then start doing the aggressive fares out of shield. But more often than not, yeah, I try not to let Marth get close to me in this spot, if that makes sense. I know it's tough on like instant reaction. I'm not expecting you to be superhuman or anything. It's just kind of one of those things. This is another thing. The fair here. This is a really great fair for when the fair F smash won't work at higher percents. Where I don't think you might be DIing out here. I think you probably are, yeah. But F smash won't hit. Or wait, no, this one. This one, yeah, sorry. Yeah, that was DIN, so F smash might have hit. But what I'll do is this fair, I'll do run off fair here when it's, and this works for like a long percent range. It's like 30 to like 80 or something.
Okay.
You do run off fair, and you up B back, and then look, this Marth, the red Marth, is forced to either what you do, double jump above, right? Which I get to ledge first, and I'm invincible, and I can up air you or back air you and put you back off stage. Or they have to go low, which I can tech, or just grab the ledge first, and then throw you back off again. So this run off fair is actually brutal, right? For the red Marth. What you're really looking for a lot is this double jump, which I'm a little slow on. That's because I get the tournament winner instead of ledge hop fair. But that's what I'm looking for. It's just to swat you back off before you can land. So that's just a tech rule on my end. But you should go for that because I think it's really broken. Okay. So just Randy ass F smash, but I assumed you might have tried to jump in at me from this spot. That's why I F smashed here. Okay, so Marth Killer. Did you have a jump here? Oh, you do it instantly. Okay. I would advise, I know you probably already know, but like save your jump, like do the side Bs and double jump it once you get closer. Just so you have some mix up with how to use up B in this position. Okay, so down tilt here. So, okay, this is one of these things where you have invincibility, right?
Yeah.
Whiffing a ton of moves with invincibility. We talked about that a little bit before. But, so one move, right? That's the rule. I would opt for grab more often than not because less lag. But then you have me in the corner here, right? I think in this position, you're very scared here, right? I get it's last stock. You're about to lose kind of thing, whatever. But backing off really, really far here, right? But your whole goal in the matchup is keeping center. And can you see why I'm saying like this back off is bad here?
Yeah, because I already have the space. I don't need to like give you space.
Yeah, exactly, right? And like it's so much harder for the blue Marth to get in, right? If he has to pick a stupid aggressive option or a bad defensive one, but because you're using down tilt and it's so quick and reactable and you get to act so soon, you just punish him for both, right? That's all you have to look for. All you're worried about in that spot is like a dash dance, like crouch cancel or something, or an aggressive option that's perfect. But like I said, that's really, really difficult and not really reliable for them to go for consistently. So yeah, I think don't give up center if you don't have to. Basically, is what I'm trying to say.
Yep.
Okay, I'm mashing grab. Holy. Okay, you're stuck in place. We're dashing grab. Punish. So again, using your double jump here, it's not terrible, but it's, well, actually no, it's pretty terrible. Sorry, but it's just one of those things where it's like you risk like maybe hitting me a little bit with forward air here, but you risk dying otherwise, you know. So try not to use your double jump in that spot. I know you know, but yeah, just one of those things. Thank God you punished me for dead neutral B. I should not be doing that. Okay.
That was the jump.
Yep. Okay, stuck in place doing down tilt, down tilt, down tilt. I'm jumping over it, jumping over it. So you just got to be like ready for it with the down tilt. Like keep in mind, even when you're not getting, like even if you get hit, just keep in mind what you got hit by last time you did it, right? The reason I lost to Tazio is I stopped doing that. When I would down tilt him, I would down tilt him like 2 or 3 times in the corner, and he would just jump over the second time each time. I wasn't like changing it up, you know.
Yeah.
So that's what you got to be looking for. Down tilt, tilt. But this is good. You guess wrong here and you go for a grab. Just where it's a little out of space, which is fine. But the little spacing game you're playing here, down tilt, forward tilt, back off a little bit, down tilt, keep me in the corner. That was great. You just kind of drop it at the end there, right? But that essentially is a little glimpse of like what you should be looking for. And then I'm just ready for your down tilt here. Or I assumed it would have been down till you grab. But yeah. Same thing. And then that's it. But that's essentially my notes on Marth Killer. Any other questions about what we talked about? Anything that's like left over?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
plenty to...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, just plenty to work on.
Yeah, I think so. I think essentially I'll give you a mini write up if that's what you think would be helpful, but I think the idea is pretty clear about like don't be in the corner. Just keep the center stage. Get a grab if you can. That's your biggest like opening, but otherwise like down tilt is like the big one. How you use it matters a lot. And then edge guarding, like I said, I'll link you the video. I think that's one of those things we don't need to talk about too much because it's like it's really just like edge guarding Fox. Like it's like you either do it or you don't, and if you do it, you get a kill. So we don't need to like harp. I don't want to like harp on you too much about that. But I do think the way you use down tilt, the way you hold center, could use quite a bit of work. I think definitely try and practice. The big thing what you could do even if you're trying to learn holding center is using crouch cancel as like a default. If you've ever played, have you heard of Ahmad from MDVA?
Yeah.
Ahmad.
Under the knife.
Sorry.
Under the knife.
Oh, I don't know.
His, like,
what's that?
I think his slippy tag is under the knife.
Oh, really? Okay, that must be new. Normally he's just Ahmad for me.
Maybe that's his Twitch, or maybe I'm just confusing him.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, if you have ever played him before, he's really, really big on using CC grab in the Ditto, or just CC in general. I think if you can get some games in with him, it'd be worth it, just to kind of see how he plays it. He's really good at it, and he plays it properly, in my opinion. Like I think he's one of the good Marths in the Ditto to look at.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think just kind of implementing that a little bit more would be worthwhile. I know we're running a little bit over on time here. I don't mean to keep you for too long. I'm just gonna do my quick wrap up.
You're
for
not
notes.
the one keeping me. Nah, but by all means, this could be a 3-hour seminar for all.
That's funny. Okay. So yeah, basically, Just a quick note. My manager, Theen, she's pushing me to get people to do testimonials. There's no pressure whatsoever. It doesn't bother me if you don't. But if you want to make a tweet or make a write up on Metafy, helps me a ton. I am gonna ask for that. But no pressure whatsoever if you can't.
Cool.
Another thing, this, like I said at the beginning of the call, this will be uploaded on YouTube. I'll have the link for the VOD in my Discord for other people to see as well. So if you do want to check out other VODs as well, you have access to that too. Like I said, I will also send you the May video. She actually had gone ahead and hold on, I know it's in here. I saw it just earlier today. May actually made a full guide out of this lesson, but most people don't have the full VOD of like me and her doing this. So I would definitely recommend checking out the full video first, and then otherwise you can check out what she is called the optimized Marth killer. That's the video.
Okay.
So this one's like the TLDR version of like how to make it a little better, but I think this one, because it's Marth Ditto specific, is the one to watch.
Sick.
I think I just linked the same video twice, my bad. But yeah, other than that, I will leave it there for now. If you are interested in booking any additional sessions, please let me know. You can always send me a DM if you have questions about Melee. I will answer them no matter what. You don't need to book a session to get an answer out of me.
Okay.
But yeah, if it's something that's like really long-winded, like for sure, maybe then I'll say maybe let's book a session. But otherwise, always feel free to send me a DM. I'm happy to help.
Sweet. No, I appreciate that a lot, man.
Yeah, no worries.
Thanks so much.
No worries. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too, dude.
All right. Peace.